recording, so whenever you're...
Oh, shit, I'm not.
Oh, wait, I'm not either. I'm recording out here, not out here.
Oh, goodness. Right. We're professionals. Okay. Okay, so this week we are discussing one of the wildest films I've ever seen in my life. One of the most interesting theater experiences I've had. This is a period piece about the transition from the old silent films into talkies. It's a film that is about just like overindulgence, doing whatever it takes to make it, and then eventually not making it because life is hard. Of course, I'm talking about Babylon.
Yes, Zach, this is quite a film.
Mm.
Quite a film indeed. But one question remains.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, but is Babylon good?
We're going to find out.
Let's do that.
But is it good podcast? Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome.
To episode 106 of But Is It Good podcast. I'm going to try and say that faster. But Is It Good podcast. But Is It Good podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Callahan.
And I am your host, Zach Olson of the But Is It Good podcast.
I'm nervous. It's hitting me that it's imminent.
Yeah. You will find out what's imminent.
We'll get to that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
How's life? How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling.
Yep.
Started a new job.
Yep.
Just relaxed.
Yep.
Watching football.
How's your sweet girl?
She's great. She started daycare this past week, and she loved it. And then she got the shits. But she's good now. She's better now. But I think she either like picked something up or like maybe just ate something that she shouldn't have eaten. You know, and she was just everywhere. Couch, floor.
Well, I'm glad she's feeling better.
In her crate, like, is all over the place.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Hollis did that in the bath the other day.
Did he?
He was like, so it's getting the downstairs one's getting renovated. So we were up in like my in-law's shower.
Mm-hmm.
He has this little portable bathtub.
Yeah.
And he got out of the bathtub and just walked around the shower just naked.
Pooping.
And just pooped. And we were like, bud.
Oh, good. At least it's a good place to poop.
Yeah, I mean,
it's easy to clean up.
It was the best case scenario.
That's where I always poop, is in the shower, yeah.
Okay, so we've got quite a episode in store today.
Yeah.
Zach, it's been a few weeks, maybe like a month or two actually. You suggested us do the hottest chip, the one chip challenge.
Mm-hmm. I was saying it's very hot, and you were like, "Oh, I could do it. It's not going to be that hot." And so
I don't know if I said that.
Yes, you did.
We should check the tape.
We'll check the tape. We can. And so we're here. We're doing it. I'm going to do it with you, even though I've already done it, and I know what's in store for me. You don't. You think you know? I feel like I don't really. I mean, the only experience I have in something like this is when I was in high school. I took like a little dab of like some hot sauce. Okay. And it was excruciating. Excruciating?
Like an hour.
You're going to go into fight or flight. Like you're literally going to you're going to want to jump out of that window right there, and it's going to be a whole thing.
All right.
And we're gonna talk about this movie while under the effects of this horrifying thing.
Hannah's sitting right here. She's gonna.
She just wants to watch.
Real quick, Hannah, if you could be so amazing while we're getting this ready, if you could get the milk ready.
You can get him a glass of milk. I'm gonna last at least 10 minutes.
I'm just saying, like, get the milk out with 2 glasses.
Okay.
Don't pour anything.
Okay.
I still want us both to see how far we can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna film our reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna talk about this film. So I guess I'm gonna get this glove on.
Well, hold on. We need to do a little bit of housekeeping stuff.
Okay. Oh yeah. Follow.
So, follow us.
Follow and like and subscribe and share. We have YouTube and TikTok now.
Yeah. Tuesday, the nominees for Best Picture are being announced.
Oh, as in like the day after this episode comes out?
Yes.
Nice.
Tuesday.
Okay.
So we will know what movies are nominated. Our plan is to, as we do every year, review all of the Oscar-nominated films.
Yes.
not all of the nominated films, but all the films that are nominated for Best Picture.
Best Picture. Next week, I believe we have is All Quiet on the Western Front, right?
All Quiet on the Western Front. And then we have, well, tentatively, we have Tar, Women Talking. I think it's called Women Talking. Another thing. I can never put these things on.
Yeah, I think this is a large size. Dude.
It's just like, I have like duck hands right now.
It's like the hands from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm opening up the chip.
the play-by-play, I love it. So,
are you going to stay down here for the whole time, Hannah?
She just wants to see the reaction. I will say that if this is what it takes to get Hannah to be on the podcast with us, I will put myself through punishment every week.
Do you want to say hi, Hannah? No, she said no. She said absolutely not.
Oh, goodness. Okay, here we go. That's a big cup. All right. So once you get the chip out, we should probably just like go for it, because if powder gets anywhere, you just don't want powder to get anywhere. So,
all right.
Oh, we got organic whole milk.
I'm going to start filming.
Not a sponsor. Shit, I think I have powder on. Okay.
If you want to start filming.
I forgot that part.
You're gonna put your phone up to your ear one day. It's just going to
burn. Okay.
All right. I am nervous.
I don't know if I can get this whole thing in my mouth all at once.
Mine's. Oh, crap. There's a piece on my arm. Oh, my God. Oh, no.
Shh. Hunter, be quiet. Your child, he slumbers.
He's still awake. I can hear him.
Oh, goodness. Oh, I dropped some on the table. We'll clean up. We just put Toby up here.
All right. I got to admit, I am genuinely nervous. So I have broken my chip to fit more.
I should do that. Hold on. I'm going to hold over this bag. Thank you, Hannah. I'm breaking mine into three pieces. I'm focusing on the chip, but I'm trying to talk into the mic.
I know, yeah.
Okay. Mine's in multiple pieces now. So
I will admit I am nervous at this point.
So you want to just fucking do it? And then, okay, so the second you put this in your mouth, go ahead and take the gloves off so you don't accidentally rub something in your eyes or whatever. Do you have it all? Why does mine feel like more?
Mine's stacked. You can see. All right, so we have to chew it.
You don't have to chew it, but if you don't chew it, it's going to really fuck up your insides.
We have to show... I just got what you were saying. we have to show our tongues to like prove that we don't think.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well, I mean, like to each other, not to the camera.
What do you mean? We see each other eating the chip.
Whatever. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh God.
You gonna count it down?
Hannah, count us down.
3, 2,
1. I take my coat off. Hallelujah. Jesus, Lord in heaven. Oh my God. This episode's going to be R-rated because fuck. Swallow, what are you doing? Ow.
This was a terrible idea. Anyway, your first thoughts on Babylon?
Oh, my fuck. Oh, I got a hiccup.
I have pizza stuck in my mouth.
Milk.
Oh, it's in my nose. It's in my nose. I got the hiccups.
The chapstick did nothing.
Ouch.
Okay. Oh, it burns again. It's like it gets rid of it for like 2 seconds. So, this movie was a clusterfuck.
This milk smells like shit.
I gotta blow my nose.
This is awful. I don't want to do this anymore.
Tears. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Are you crying? How are you not crying?
I'm crying. I want to spit. This movie was really interesting.
Why does it burn more now? It burns more now. It burns more now than it did like 5 minutes ago. Has it even been 5 minutes? It's only been 4.5 minutes.
We should have got a gallon of milk. Hannah, damn it.
I told you.
This is not fun.
So, I think I'm ready. I think I've composed myself. This film, I was not expecting this. I mean, I saw the trailer. The carnival atmosphere. Fuck. I can't. It's like the milk will get rid of the pain for like 30 seconds. You're in the shot.
I hate you, Zach.
Now you can say you did it. Now, no matter what, if we die tonight, we did it.
Is this doing it? Am I succeeding? Doesn't feel like it.
Well, according to the chart, we're powerless because we didn't even make it. He's shaking. Oh, no.
No. I made it like a minute.
Oh, it's in my nasal.
It's in my throat. My throat.
Nose. Oh, no.
Did you like La La Land?
I haven't seen La La Land. Remember, I don't like musicals.
Oh, yeah. I think that's the only one of his films that I've seen, Damien Chazelle. I've heard Whiplash is really good.
I've heard Whiplash is really good, too. Someone was explaining Whiplash to me, and I was thinking that doesn't sound like a good movie. But it's, like, critically acclaimed.
Yeah. Did you see First Man? I wanted to. I never saw it.
The fact I thought I was in pain. It got in my nose, and oh, my God, Hunter. I don't like this. We're going to be throwing up milk in about 20 minutes.
Hannah, are you having fun?
Was it worth it for you? Okay.
I'm not throw up.
Did you say taco time?
Let me rephrase this. I don't think I'm going to
throw up outside. Okay. I thought you said taco time. We'll throw up in the pool because it's got like a cleaning system, right? It doesn't stop. It's like if you just sit there with a mouthful of milk, the pain is gone. Also, something else that y'all need to understand. We are not endorsing this chip. Actually, don't do it.
Don't do it.
The chip tastes bad.
Okay. So, first thoughts. Who's first?
I've been talking intermittently. I mean, probably hasn't been registering, but this film just caught me off guard in like every conceivable way. I mean, I'm sorry, that was uncontrollable.
Are you gonna post that, Hannah? I don't care.
Post it on in the baby group.
Are you judging us?
People are always judging people.
Yeah, that's true.
So
this movie, in some ways, was what I expected, and then also
Okay.
not at all.
Yeah.
If I talk, it gets worse.
I like coughed in a little bit.
It's not here. It's literally my entire mouth.
Yeah, the mouth hurts. It feels like you've been stung by a scorpion. That is gross. Are we keeping all this in? Are we putting all this on social media?
Are you still filming?
Yes.
Oh, mine stopped. I don't know about you. You can stop it. Thank you for listening to the podcast.
We'll talk to you next week.
It feels like my gums are swollen.
No, it's a little fitting, I think, that we ate this chip for this episode because
whole milk is gross.
Man, I was on a roll and now my mouth burns.
Sorry.
Because much like what is currently happening in our mouth, this movie is filled with violence and just like, oh my God, I can't. What is going on?
So, I have to like take a sip to get like a sentence out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This movie it was what I thought it was going to be, right?
Okay.
There's a section towards the end where I was like, "Excuse me, where are we? Are we watching Barbarian?"
Right.
But overall, I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I know people were saying that it's a masterpiece or it's either trash.
Mm-hmm.
It's neither of those things. I really enjoyed. I love movies about movies. I do.
Like Mank. You loved Mank.
I did love Mank. But I thought the performances were great. I really loved the cast. I loved.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the reckless abandon of some characters.
Yes. Margot Robbie's performance is electric. Fun fact before we get into it, and while you're taking sips of milk.
I feel gross.
Yeah, now I'm full of milk.
Too.
It's not a good feeling. Man. Margot Robbie's character was originally going to be played by Emma Stone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about that because it was supposed to portray a specific person in Hollywood in the 1920s.
Okay.
But I don't want to give any spoilers, so continue. Continue.
Hannah's looking at me with disappointment.
We're a couple of idiots, Hannah. You know this, right?
Oh, bread. My stomach is full of milk.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels pretty gross.
You know what's better than milk?
Milk and bread?
Milk bread. You ever just have a big old plate of milk bread?
Are you saying to eat this, Hannah? Yeah? You can talk. You know that, right? People know you're here. We only have one listener. It's Peter.
Hannah's like me.
In New South Wales.
Hannah's like me when I was a kid and a grandparent would call on Christmas. They knew I was right there because it's Christmas and we're opening presents and stuff. But I'd be like, tell him that I said hi. And I wouldn't want to actually speak. Oh. I think the bread just activated more heat for me.
I might throw up.
Oh, milk bread. I love milk bread.
How long does this last?
I told you about 45 minutes.
No.
We're about 10 minutes in.
Okay. I'm a sucker for
eating spicy ass chips.
It was funny. I had a kickin' chicken sandwich from Zaxby's for dinner. I should have just eaten ice, just to cool my
honestly,
mouth.
Something fried like that.
Love you.
Good night, Hannah. Love you. Something spicy or something greasy like that will probably help. It's just a burp.
It's like 4 sentences.
I thought I was gonna throw up, but it's just a burp.
I think I'm plateauing.
I think I have powder on the top of my...
I'm plateauing. Okay. I am a sucker for films about, like the Hollywood dream. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
The abandoned and the I'm gonna give everything to this. I'm gonna whatever it takes.
Yeah. Look at how I'm holding this bread. This is just like. Oh no! I'm holding it like a Italian chef that's like saying like, "Oh, magnifico."
Like La La Land. I love La La Land. Ethan, you could at me.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Movies like Almost Famous, that kind of stuff, where it's like this passion of like your craft and your art.
Yeah.
And kind of, I'm going to make it big, that kind of stuff. I think those stories are lovely, but I also really loved how this movie was like, that's a really hard life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get caught up in the machine of Hollywood, which it still exists, but even back then it was ruthless and relentless. And how when times change, you either have to get with the times, get spat out, or like age gracefully and accept like everybody has their time in the sun and it comes to an end. And this film is interesting about how it treats death and how it treats like finite things, but also immortality and the everlasting legacy.
Yeah.
There are things in the movie that I thought were beautiful. My nose I just snot. I'm literally I'm like that. I'm Jennifer Hudson in Cats right now. That's what I am.
Memory.
All alone in the moonlight. I was profound. I felt profoundly affected by this movie. I will say that when I left the theater, I was not sure if I hated it or if I loved it.
Okay.
I think I'm leveling out.
I think I'm gonna be burping.
Let me just say something. That was excruciating.
Was that the worst thing?
That was excruciating.
Yeah. Was that the worst thing you've ever done?
Probably. I'm trying to think. I've had shingles. That was awful.
Wait until tomorrow. Because one chip can do a lot of damage. Yeah, shit is what you're going to be doing. Just blow your nose. It's fine. It's made for audio,
Oh, my God.
I can say that when I left the theater, I'll say that the first...
I feel like I'm drunk.
2 hours, yeah, you feel it's like it's a euphoria because you survived something. This is like Margot Robbie. Okay, I can't say. I was gonna say something. I'll say after we go through the spoiler. We need to get to the spoiler part so we can start talking about the movie. All that to say, the first 2 hours I thought were phenomenal. It gets really shaky for a while, and then I liked the absolute ending, like the very end. But there's you can tell that it's a film that sort of loses its direction at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into that.
Yeah.
You have these, I think it's 6 characters, maybe just 5, that all meet at this party, or some of them know each other, but you see them for the first time at this party, and it follows other careers.
Yep.
And then it seems to focus mostly on 3, and some of them sort of get pushed to the back burner.
Yeah.
And I wish we got to see those characters a little bit more.
Yeah.
Anyways, all that to say, we're going to get to the spoiler part now.
Yes. It's your turn.
Yep.
To do a movie in a minute.
Yes, it is. And I wasn't planning on ripping my West Georgia shirt. I was going to have that coat on, but there's no fucking way. I'm hot. I have heated up.
Okay. Do you want me to I have a timer.
Mm-hmm. I need a prop.
Dude.
Not a sponsor.
If I drink any more milk, I'm going to puke.
This helps with nausea.
I burped and now it's hurting again. All right, this is Zach having survived the 1 chip challenge. Dude, your lips are so red. Are mine red?
A little, yeah. A little more red than they normally would be. Can I just say the chapstick did nothing?
It did nothing.
It's almost like
it got mixed
stuck
in or something.
to the chapstick. It was just like I felt like just my lips. I kissed the vat of acid that the Joker got dipped in or fell in.
So for me, and then we'll do this, we promise.
Yeah.
It was my throat.
Okay.
Like the back of my throat was just literally, it was scorching.
Yeah.
And then the inside of the top of my top lip.
Ooh, how'd you get it up?
Right
oh,
here.
No.
It was just like...
That sounds awful.
And then it moved all around. But like at first it was like right here and then the back. And I was like, what's happening?
And you know how like you eat a chip or you eat chips, plural?
Yes.
And they get like stuck in your teeth?
Yes.
I'll unlodge something and then it's pain again.
Yeah.
It keeps happening.
That's what I was doing because you were like, why aren't you swallowing it? And I was getting all of it.
Good. Smart.
I was getting all of it.
Because, ouch. It's like I'll just hit a little pocket of like, Okay.
All right, movie a minute. Here we go. It says, I feel awful.
Yeah, I feel very unwell.
Yes. This is Zach doing Babylon. Movie in a minute. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so we open up on Manny. He's trying to get this elephant to the party. Elephant shits all over the elephant handler. They get to the party. This girl's pissing all over this dude. It's a giant orgy. You meet these 5 people. One of them's trying to be a star. One of them's trying to be a director. The other is like, they're also trying to come up in the industry. And we follow them throughout their careers. We see the transition from silent films to talkies and all the crazy things that happen. Margot Robbie's character gets bit in the neck by a fucking rattlesnake, and it like she almost dies, but another girl, Faye, I think is her name. I don't want to get her name wrong, but I think it's Faye. She, like, sucks the venom out. Anyways, all this to say, the transition from silent films to talkies is not so easy for any of them, and some of them fall out of grace. One of them commits suicide, another one dies in the streets, and then one goes down to Mexico and meets someone, and then goes to New York. And it's kind of a bittersweet ending, but then it's all about like film happiness, like right at the end there, you know.
Amazing.
I think that was pretty good. I mean, I know I missed a lot, but considering where my headspace is right now,
it's 3 hours long, so. Okay, so we've readjusted. I am laying down on the couch.
I hope that doesn't like bring it back up into your esophagus.
It already did.
Do you want to? Okay. All right. Well,
I'm okay right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so Babylon. Let's do this thing.
Babylon. Early on, I thought I had a read on this film, and in a way, I did. But it's deeper than the opening sequence. First of all, let me just say that, like other films that we reviewed on the podcast, I think the longest one was Drive My Car.
Yeah.
But it took 33 minutes for the title card to come on screen.
Yes. I think Drive My Car, was it like
40 minutes or like 50 minutes, something like that. But we open up Manny,
he's pushing an elephant or whatever.
He's trying to transport an elephant to this party. This like almost looks like what you hear like Sodom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
Sodom
like
and Gomorrah.
Yeah, just like crazy ass party orgy. Anyways, the elephant shits all over a poor guy.
Well, it's funny too because like they said names and I guess they're all fictional, but like whose party was this? And it's in the middle of nowhere. Right.
Well, it's at someone's like mansion.
Estate.
Yeah, estate.
Yeah, you know, if you think Wolf of Wall Street was a lot.
This felt Wolf of Wall Street.
This felt beyond Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah, for sure. Goodness gracious. I am bloated.
Me too. But so Manny is like our point of view character, you know, kind of.
Yeah.
He's from Mexico, and he has dreams of what?
He is like he introduces himself at first as from Mexico, but then later on in the movie, someone asks him if he's from Mexico, and he says, "No, I'm from Spain."
Oh, that's right.
And so I wasn't sure.
But then he said like his family's like 30 minutes away.
Right, they live in L.A., but is he from... Like, I guess I'm unsure. Is he actually from Spain? And earlier on in the movie, he was saying that because he thought being a Mexican immigrant would get him more work opportunity, but then when he's more successful, or is he lying later? Or is he lying both times? I don't know.
Sorry, he's Joker in The Dark Knight, where he keeps changing his backstory.
Were you just fidgeting with...
Yeah, I had to get readjusted.
Okay, all right.
But you know how it is, man. Like, sometimes you just gotta do it.
Yeah. These are things that I don't see when we record remotely. You laying on the couch just like...
When we record remotely, I'm naked from the waist down.
Me too. I have like a dress shirt on. Just like when I'm working and I have like a client call.
No underwear or anything? Just
no underwear. Bare ass on the chair. It's the best way.
Perfect. Anyway, yeah, so this party... It shows obviously the like wildness and the excessiveness of the time, but also like the like by the seat of your pants and just on a whim thing that the movie industry kind of ran on, in the sense of like the girl who pees on the guy, right?
Jane Thornton.
Yes, she dies. Right?
She just overdoses. I don't think she dies.
Oh, okay. Well, she ODs, but she was supposed to be in a movie the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But because of her OD, that's how. What's her name?
Nellie
Leroy ends up getting cast.
And she doesn't have
boobs.
She has butt.
Yes.
And the director's like, I didn't ask for butt, I asked for boobs. Where's the boobs?
Yeah.
She OD'd. Oh, shit.
But what's I gotta say, Nellie, every character in this movie, at some point, they're kind of the worst. Right?
Okay.
But when she shows up, I loved her. I loved her energy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something that's just, to me, it gets me. It's where she walks in and she's like, I'm Nellie, like, Leroy, like, how do you not, like, I'm a star.
Mm-hmm.
And,
so I was telling you earlier that Emma Stone was supposed to play Nellie, and her character was supposed to be loosely based, or maybe it was actually going to have the name, but it was going to be based on Clara Bow. I don't know if you know that name.
I don't think I do.
But she was an actress during the silent film era who successfully made the transition to talkies. But and I guess this was like uncommon for the 20s or maybe the early 20s, but she was like the first actress to like be openly sexual on screen, and she became like the sex symbol of the roaring 20s.
Okay, gotcha.
Have you heard the phrase the It Girl?
Mm-hmm.
So she was in a movie called It, and then she was the It Girl.
Oh, gotcha.
So anyways, Nellie Leroy's character was originally supposed to be like pretty tightly based on Clara.
Gotcha.
And then when Emma Stone couldn't do it, and they were able to bring Margot Robbie on board, and Margot is very, like, she's got the energy to, like, take it to 11, whereas they were going to be at 9, you know? They went with a more fictional take on it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Rather than, like, more, like, true to form.
You know, it's she I think she was perfect for this role.
Yes,
I think agree. She's really kind of grown into a really fantastic actress. But yeah, it's just interesting how, like, I guess back then it was like, hey, you're here, be at this place tomorrow at 10 a.m. You're gonna be in a movie, and then like Manny's just like, whatever work you have, like, I'll do anything. Yeah, and he just says yes. He's like he's like the yes man, you know.
She's the it girl, and he's the yes man.
Yep. And then you see we meet Jack Conrad, and his wife leaves him at the first 5 minutes.
Which wife?
This was Olivia Wilde, actually.
Yeah.
So the very first one, she made a little cameo.
The one who says, "If you speak Italian one more fucking time."
Yes.
And then he says bonjour. He doesn't say bonjourne.
No,
but
yeah.
But
I was thinking of that. I was like, buongiorno.
Yeah, buongiorno. Thank you.
Arrivederci. If anybody's seen Inglourious Bastards. Great movie. Yeah, and his character was fascinating to me too because he's already mass. He's like the biggest star in the world, right? And has just like I don't know. There's this cockiness and this. They all sort of fall into this "I'm gonna live forever" trap.
Yeah,
But in this moment, in this first little act, Manny and Nellie connect. Because he helps her get into the party. And they have that really, honestly, in my opinion, this really sweet exchange of like, why do you want to go to movies? And he's like, I want to be part of something that's bigger than myself. Like I want to be in that world and be a part of that and kind of help move it forward, yada, yada. And they're both like, oh yeah, like we're going to make it.
Yep.
So while this crazy stuff's going on, there's the orgies, there's the drugs, there's the outrageous stuff. Oh, and we also meet Sydney at this party.
Yeah, so the main players, we meet Manny, who's probably the main character of the film, I would say.
I would say him and Nellie.
Nellie.
Yep.
Jack.
Sydney.
Who's
the trumpet player.
Who I like his arc the most, I think, because
he's the like what to do kind of.
Then we have Faye.
She sings a song, right?
She's a cabaret singer. And she writes intertitles for films.
Yes.
For silent films. And then we meet Eleanor, the critic.
Ah, yes, she is there.
Yeah.
Who actually is kind of... She's an interesting character, too, because she doesn't really do much until there's one very pivotal scene with Jack that is actually quite endearing in a very interesting way, to me at least.
Not that this is like a hero's journey narrative, because it's not. But she would be like the old wise man, because like when she comes on screen and when she speaks, like she might not be the most pure. Yeah. None of them are. But everything she says is true. Yeah. Like she's spot on. Yep. Yeah. So anyways, we meet those 6.
Yes, and they, but party ends. And that's kind of a reoccurring theme here is like everything must end, right? Everything has to end. And that's something that, frankly, like, I don't know about you, Zach, but like as we reach 30, like that's a thought that I've had. Not like things ending, but it's like, oh, like things aren't always in front of you. Yeah. They're also happening now. Then they're over, Yep. Things end. And
But when you're done, you're going to dance your ass off into the night.
Well, that's
and they'll know. Everyone will fucking know that they could never control one goddamn fucking thing. Sorry, that was a Nelly quote from the movie.
Yeah. And that's what she does.
Yeah.
And so it's this film, and I know that we're kind of already like skipping around because this is the end, but like this film presents you with this question, in my opinion at least, of like, okay, what are you going to do when the party's over? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, what are you going to do? Can you be okay with that?
Right.
Can you be okay with that and keep living your life like Sydney? Do you have...
Like Faye.
And Faye, yes.
And Eleanor.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, will you step into that ending with grace and arms wide open? That's more Eleanor, in my opinion. Or will you be so convinced that you have to keep dancing that it leads you to your death?
Or maybe
like Nelly.
Maybe I think, and I know we're talking about the end now, basically.
It's fine, whatever.
But I think that Nelly, it wasn't that she just wanted to dance forever and never die. It's that she knew that her death was imminent. And so she said, I'm going to dance.
Maybe.
Just fucking dance.
I guess for her it was like she knew she had passed the point of no return.
Yeah.
Maybe. So at that point, just be like, I'm just gonna go in. You know. Or are you gonna escape by the skin of your teeth like Manny? You know. Or are you gonna be so lost and distraught at the thought of it being over that you can't handle it like Jack?
Right.
And it's fascinating.
And Jack's friend John.
Oh, John's like the first time that we see death have an impact.
Yeah.
I don't know if his name is John, but the one who's like always trying to
George.
The one who's always trying to find a girl, and he's always like gonna kill himself because he can't, and then finally he does.
Yeah.
A
little bit of chip come up.
I gotta sit up. Oh gosh.
Did you know Flea was in this? He was
Thank you.
He was the studio exec.
Bro, I was like, is that Flea? He looks terrible.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, that was Flea.
He was pretty good actually. I was thinking, I was like, that can't be Flea because he's not a bad actor.
That was. You think that guy was a bad actor?
No. I'm saying like this. Whoever this is
what are
good.
You fucking saying, Hunter? That can't be Flea because he's not a bad actor, which would mean that whoever was on the screen was a bad actor.
I came out wrong. I was saying.
Have we been recording for an hour and 42 minutes?
No, it always starts at 1.
Okay.
I was saying the person who played that character was good. And so I was like, that might not be Flea because this is a good actor. Anyway, movie happens, right? Let's try and talk through this. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
What happened?
I just... I'm going to go off on a rant.
Yeah,
it's going to be like a little 2-minute rant.
It's fine. Go for it.
You know when you like... Have you ever over-dried clothes?
Yeah.
And they kind of smell like they're burning?
Yeah.
That's what the back of my throat tastes like. Feels like burnt dryer.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
We're in bad shape, my friends.
Okay. All right. Just wait until tomorrow.
Anyway.
That's what I have to do on the TikTok. Just like little 3-second shot of us on the toilet.
We'll just take pictures, take videos for the throughout our day.
Oh, goodness.
But I was going to say, right after this party, we get a look at Jack's life and, dude, my stomach, I'm so bloated, and Nellie's life. And Nellie lives in this like gross, like it's barely even like one bedroom. It's like a closet with a bed, and it just looks awful, dingy. And then Jack comes home to this mansion, but it's empty, and his wife left him again. And he's a mess. He falls into the pool and all this kind of stuff. So we already see that like how it's that stark difference between like, oh, they're, like when they need to be on, they're on, and they're the life of the party. Like when Jack's sloppy, he can barely function, but they say action, he's there.
Yeah.
But when the cameras stop rolling, when the party ends, they're just a mess.
Right.
Anyway, so they go to this massive field, right? This massive set.
German.
Are they on the same set, Nellie and him?
No. So okay. Nellie's at like a silent film like studio that there's like a bunch of shit going on, and it's chaotic.
And it's outside too.
It's outside.
It's like 15 different sets.
Complete chaos. One of them's like caught on fire and shit, and she's doing her thing. And then Jack and Manny go to the big costume
like war movie with the also chaotic like director and stuff, and it's nuts.
Schneller motherfuckers.
Yeah, and their camera breaks, whatever.
10 cameras break.
10. But all of this is to show there's excess everywhere and there's chaos everywhere. Like Nellie's picture is just like she's thrown into it. There's hardly any rehearsal. Hey, do this, be sexy, blah, blah, blah. And she, like, I think that it's shown great. Like, she's standing there. She looks like deer in headlights. She's like, and then she says action. And then she just, boom, just kills it. And steals the show.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so congested now.
I have a headache.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
I'm sorry.
If I have an aneurysm, then, it'll bump up our ratings for a couple weeks. Oh goodness.
Anyway,
she becomes the it girl. Like in that moment,
yes,
she becomes famous.
Yeah, and the director, which I actually think was Damien Chazelle's wife, the blonde.
Was it?
Yeah.
She was also, if I can give you a little bit of trivia, she was also loosely based on, give me 2 seconds, I'm going to sing a song while I find it because I want to sing a song while I find it. Dorothy Arzner.
Don't know who that is.
Who was, for the longest time, there was like a 3-year period where there was another, but for like 20 years, the only female director in Hollywood, in early Hollywood.
Oh, wow.
But you want to hear something cool?
Yes.
And this ties into
Always.
a little later in the film when they make the transition from silent films to talkies, and we get the scene, it's like 10 minutes, where they're trying to...
The dude dies in the box?
Yeah, the dude dies in the box. They're trying to get this one scene down where she walks in and says, "Hello, college."
Not even one scene, like one shot.
Yeah.
Like it's like the... Yeah, but yes.
And the sound guy's fucking incompetent and all this stuff. Anyways, you know when she doesn't hit her mark? And... Okay, so this is really fucking cool to me. This made me appreciate the film a lot more. Dorothy Arzner did that film, or a film very similar to that, where this girl goes to college and she falls in love with the dean and like blah 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 blah, with Clara Bow, who Margot Robbie's character is based on.
Yep.
And in a scene where she was in her bedroom, Clara Bow, like her whole personality, much like Nellie in this movie, was that she just sort of like flowed her own way. And so she had difficulty hitting her mark. So she couldn't get under the mic. So Dorothy Arzner put a microphone on a fishing rod and created the first boom mic.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That's super tight.
Didn't happen in the movie.
No, that's awesome.
But I think it creates more comedic effect with what actually happened in the movie, which is just complete chaos, incompetence on every level. Well, the fucking producer walks in and the dude turns around and yells at him. And he's like, "Oh, hi, thank you so much for coming."
Yeah,
because he realizes
that dude. No, so I think he was the DA first. Yeah, I think
assistant. Yeah, I think he's the
first AD. Sorry, God,
assistant director.
He's the first AD, and their job is to kind of like
yell at people,
run the set. Right?
Yeah,
and that dude was screaming the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
The part that killed me was when she was like, "This was in the silent film," where she was like, "Cut, you there?
Your erection showing." Yeah,
and the guy's like, "All right, tuck it,
just
people.
tuck it up, tuck it up, tuck it up,
tuck it up, tuck it up. Let's go." I was cracking up.
Oh goodness.
Which I saw this movie at Tinseltown by myself.
Okay.
It was me and like 4 other people, and so I was in the corner and I was like audibly laughing at some parts.
Yeah, I saw it at AMC last night, and there were like 9 people in the theater with me.
Yeah,
and everybody was cracking up.
But it's a really fascinating, because you know, if anybody's gone through film school or like, and you know is into the history, the change between talkies and silent films was really like tumultuous.
Yeah,
it was like
it was a time
what was going on.
There were, I would say, most actors weren't able to make the transition because their voice wasn't a good fit, or they
like Chaplin didn't didn't really translate. He did a couple talkies, but that's about it. I think, and we'll get to him in a minute.
The Dictator. Is that the name of the movie?
I think so, something like that.
The Dictator.
I'm not sure. My computer's over here, so I can't really. But showing like
penis potato, how
they went from just do this and you have to move right and be, you can move in exaggerated ways, and that's it. It didn't really matter what you were saying or doing. To all of a sudden, the set has to be quiet. The marks have to be perfect. The audio has to be clean. The lines have to be said well.
It's The Great Dictator. The Dictator was a Sacha Baron Cohen film.
Yes. And then just like how it looks like with Nellie, she's not used to that. She's far more nervous, for this role than she was
Well, and she has to memorize lines.
Yes.
You might have said that. I don't know if
I didn't say that.
Okay. I was doing a little bit of...
Mind you, people might think like when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, they had to memorize all these lines. No, you can do... One shot can be one sentence if you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. And this film shows us that you don't even really need to memorize the lines because I don't know if you noticed, but about halfway through, there were a couple of times, it was always Manny's lines where it was clear that they wanted to change what he said, but they didn't do reshoots. They just like put dialogue over his mouth and it didn't match up. There were a couple times.
I think I missed that.
There were a couple times, unless the film, it was just like messed up. He was saying something, but his voice was saying something completely different.
Could you see his face?
Yeah, he was speaking.
Because there's tons of times where like you'll see like a dirty shot like over the shoulder,
mm-hmm.
and you're watching somebody react to what the person in front of them is saying.
It doesn't.
And if you look closely, either their jaw's like not moving,
or
like it's like super off.
Right.
So it's very common. But anyway, so because we're already like almost out of an hour. Nelly has skyrockets to stardom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jack continues his good movies, and he gets married like 4 more times, right? That's like his deal.
Yeah.
He has a revolving door relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big break for Sydney and Manny. Sydney's playing these parties, and he's kind of mistreated by his band leader, and he's like, I'm going to get out of here, yada, yada, yada. And then when sound comes in, I think it's Manny who has the idea of putting the band, like doing a movie or whatever about the band.
Well, it's not his idea. Someone says, well, why don't you have them in the shot? And he like looks and he's like, that's a good idea. And then he does it or something like that.
Oh, wait, no, it's Sydney.
Does Sydney say it?
He like asked Sydney, like, you need like, what do you think about it? I know what it is.
Did Sydney say the lights are in my eyes or something like that? No.
Jack Conrad is doing... or is about to do Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain. Remember, like, they're all in overcoats, and he's like...
He's doing Singing in the Rain? Because Jack Conrad's not in that movie, because they watched the movie.
What I'm saying is, I'm not sure if they ended up... If he ended up doing it, but, like, they have the big set. Everyone's, like, in the raincoats. All the women are, like, singing, and he's talking to George or whatever, and he's like, I'm not doing this. Come on, man. Like, this is ridiculous. He's like, oh, come on, And then it kind of pans out, and you see, like... Over here, they have the band playing the music,
mm-hmm.
and Manny, like, who I guess at this point is like an assistant or like an exec.
Mm.
I guess not an exec, but like he's like a on-set assistant PA, and he talks to Sydney, and he's like, "What do you think about all this?"
Mm-hmm.
And Sydney says, "I think you have the camera pointed in like, I think he says in the wrong direction or like at the wrong people," and I think that gives Manny the idea to like. Or something like that. Maybe.
Have them included in the shot.
Yeah. And so Jack is being he's aging. Nelly's a superstar. Manny becomes like a high-ranking exec, and then Sydney becomes a star as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then there's too much to talk about in this movie because it's so long. But Faye and Nelly, start having some sort of relationship.
Right. Yeah.
There's a snake. Her dad's involved.
Yeah, her dad, who's like really bad at what he does, but she's like, well, I gotta have my dad as a part of it. What's he gonna do with his life?
We do
and
see.
It's like, couldn't you just be happy with your money? Like,
we do see a bit more of her backstory. Like her dad,
mm-hmm.
like her mom's like in a mental institution.
Okay, so this is something that I genuinely want to talk about because I really enjoyed this film,
mm-hmm.
but it does have issues. One of them being that it seems like certain backstories are not fully fleshed out. So we see her mom at this sanitarium. We don't know why she's there, or like she doesn't even speak. It's just like this little one-off scene. And then she never really like talks about it, like how that impacted her. She just talks about like how she doesn't like it when people put toppings on ice cream. You know?
Yeah, and the only thing that she says about back home is like she's like
that's how she cries.
Yes, that. But also like I'm gonna show them. I told them I was gonna show them. They said I wasn't pretty or like
all
this kind of stuff. which I'm not to say is untrue, but it also feels kind of generic a little bit.
Yeah. And her dad is one of the guys in The Dark Knight, right?
Yes, he actually has.
Is he Falcone? Who is he?
No, he was. Yes.
Is he Falcone? He was also in the music video for Mr.
Was he Maroney?
Maybe. He's also in the music video for Mr. Brightside.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I think Carmine Falcone is in Batman Begins. I think
Maybe you're right.
I think he's Maroney.
Okay.
Anyway, he's been in a ton of Lifetime movies too. Apparently this dude has like, I'm not sure if it's the most acting credits for a working actor, for an active actor right now, but it's something absurd. Anyway, yes.
We're talking about Eric Roberts.
Yes. He's been in like tons and tons of movies.
Good Lord.
What is there a number?
No, I'm just scrolling down a list.
Yeah, it's a lot. Anyway, yeah, her dad is like, what?
More than 700 credits.
Yeah.
That is insane. Over 40 years. Good Lord.
Yeah. Anyway, he's like a dadager.
Yeah.
But he's also like using her fame and her clout and her money and exploiting that for like his own ventures. Like he has the Nelly Diner or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of sends her off on this little tangent where she essentially tries to get him to kill himself with the snake. You know?
Sorry, Are you still reading this? Yes, Julia Roberts is his sister.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Emma Roberts.
Is that his daughter?
This chick is his daughter.
That's his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Wow.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Wow.
I hope a mic got that. Gonna have to amplify that.
Wow.
Focus, Zach. Focus. We're already out of an hour.
Listen, man.
Reel this in.
I have to do something to cope with the amount of discomfort in my chest.
Yeah, like my gut is awful. But we see, you know, these things start to take a toll. Nellie's career starts to kind of tumble because she's
unable to adapt.
Yes, but also there's a shift in the culture of like they want more morally straight films and morally.
Well, not just that, but the city itself has like outlawed the kind of parties that were going on at the beginning of the film. Yeah. That's why all the weird people go to.
Oh my God, dude!
The underground.
We'll get there.
The place.
We'll get there, or do you just want to go there?
We can go there. We can.
Let's quickly get to that point. So,
okay.
What starts to happen in this film, and I think it's shown very well. I know this has been a shit review. Sorry, we've been all.
This
over
has
the
been
place.
great. This has been wonderful.
But Jack, he starts his first talk. He doesn't translate right. He gets laughed at.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's the thing is that if you watch silent films, the movements are like exaggerated, and it's like over animated. And then that's how they do that. He did that in this first talkie, and it comes across as cheesy and kind of weird. So his career kind of starts to basically become. I don't mean this with any disrespect, but like Bruce Willis now, where it's like,
oh shit.
So well, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Like he just took anything. It's like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was fine doing that, but I'm saying like he was, you know, he's against that notion of like, okay, I'm an older actor, yada yada yada, and then Nellie, you know, she can't control it. She's gambling. She's a gambling addiction. She's getting into debt, and she can't adapt to the changing times, not just with the medium of film, but also like the culture of what's wanted on the film.
Right.
And so we see them trying to like do like PR for her, where they try to teach her how to talk, and they essentially tell her and Faye to stop hanging out. We're seeing each other.
Not just that, they push Faye out. Faye works for... What studio are they at that point? It's not MGM. Remember. It's the other one. It's like Synchrony or something.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Polyphony. It's not Polyphony.
Polyphony.
Oh, God.
Polyphony Films.
Polyphony Films.
Anyway, so, and we have Manny who's trying to... He starts having to make these decisions that maybe he wouldn't have made before he had all this power, which is essentially trying to force Nellie to change who she is, right?
Yeah.
And
sorry,
pushing Faye out of the picture, but then also telling Sydney to put on blackface.
Yeah, that was, I did not.
So the story of that is he's lighter skinned than the rest of the band, which on black and white film is even magnified even more. If something's darker, it looks very dark, and if something's lighter, it looks very bright. So some exec tells Manny they don't want to see a mixed band.
Well, I think they say specifically if it's a mixed band, they won't be able to play the film in the South.
Okay, got you.
Which is even worse.
Yes. So he tells Sydney to put on blackface with this kind of makeup, and Sydney reluctantly does it. But you can kind of see him during the shoot, where you can see him like deciding, like,
right,
I'm done. This is it. And so he is the only one who truly escapes the machine of Hollywood, right? He walks out and like throws the guy that burp that hurt so bad.
I think I had some on my fingers and I just got it in my nose because my nose burns.
I'm sorry.
Really bad.
The guy's like, hey, you need this to come back. And Sydney's like, I ain't coming back. So he dips out. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just breathing.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm breathing. Keep going.
Are you going to make it?
Yes.
And then we have Jack. Jack's fifth or sixth wife. They split up. He goes and has this really powerful and moving and sad, frankly, conversation with what's her name? Eleanor. He does this interview that he's thinking is going to be his like I'm back interview, and it ends up being like.
Well, it's not like a scheduled interview. It's just like a why did you do this hit piece? Because he sees it as a hit piece. Yeah,
but he did an interview with her.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
But I think to him it was like this, like, oh, I'm still here, like, and it comes across as like this, like he's over the hill.
Yeah. It was the magazine title was like. Sorry, no, just keep going. I was about to say The Fall of Jack Harlow, but it's not his name. It's Jack something. What's his name?
Jack Conrad.
Jack Conrad. Yeah.
But he has this conversation with Nellie, with Eleanor, that I think is really fascinating. Where she's talking about how he's so reluctant to admit that like he's had his time and time has passed and he's on the downslope and.
But he's immortalized because he's done it. He's run up that hill as Jeb Bush would say.
No, what?
Kate Bush. Sorry, man. I'm like, please clap. That's Jeb.
That's what?
Please clap.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's sorry, so man. Funny. I feel drunk.
That's hilarious. Kate Bush, yeah, right up the hill.
Milk drunk,
dude. God, my stomach is just. But yeah, I think that's a really, really beautifully put thing where she's saying like, she's a cockroach and she survives because she just is in the shadows and just sort of scurries around and does whatever. No one knows her, but she was saying, you climbed the mountain and you had the glory and you stood in the spotlight, but the spotlight will move on.
Right.
You can only be there for so long. And so, yes, your time will come to an end And, that's sad. Whether it's right or wrong, it just is. You have to learn to accept that. But in 100 years, when they're both dead and gone, you'll be alive again. Every time somebody puts on the movie that you've made, there you are, living and breathing. And it's really beautifully put. It's beautiful. And that's what art is to me. Whether it's film, music, anything like that, it's like you're immortalized. You last forever.
And if I had heard that speech, let me tell you, I probably would have gone home and been like, yeah, I did it. Now let me just relax.
Yeah. I can make what I want. I mean, if I want to,
Right. But Jack doesn't see it that way. No. Jack wants the fame and he wants it to continue. And so that's really hard for him. On top of that, is it before then or after then that his close friend dies?
Before then.
It's before then?
Burning again.
Yeah, it'll come back. Just wait until you get what's it called? Like when you do acid and then years later you just feel like you're on acid again for a half second.
I have no idea.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
Is that gonna happen to us?
Yeah, it's like
it's like an aftershock, basically.
You're gonna be at your third wedding.
What?
And all of a sudden your mouth is just gonna be on fire.
That's so random.
No, it's a joke. Cause,
Yes. Wait, no, why? Tell me.
You know the joke.
I don't know the joke.
You know the funny joke.
What's the joke?
Man,
You're just out of it, aren't you?
Yeah. So the joke is, you don't want me joking about the joke on the podcast.
Okay. You're right. I'm so sorry. That joke.
No, the one where Hannah's gonna divorce you. Haha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, she loves me. I think most of the time. Anyway.
Those are just sad most of the time. She loves you all the time.
She does. She's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
She's wonderful. Anyway,
I heard movement.
He can't accept that. But then he's faced with the reality. His agent calls him and he's like, "Is this some shit film?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm doing you a solid."
You're bailing me out.
Yeah, and he has this last little moment on the beach of that really crappy set, where this kid is up and coming, and he looks around at everybody and he sees that they're all. Oh, that was painful. That they're all, in the magic of the movies, and he's either past it or never had it, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then his story ends poorly, where he sees Faye, and he's got some new girl and all this kind of stuff, and you can see there's just a sadness.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And she has to get out. Faye's like, "I'm moving to Europe. I'm done. I'm getting out of here." And he goes up to his room, and the second he gave that guy a massive tip, I was like, he's gonna go kill himself. I could just see it.
Yep.
Yep. It was sad, man. That's really tough.
It was really sad. We have to talk about Tobey Maguire, and we're getting close to the end.
So I was saying, that's how his story ends. Sydney got out. Faye got out. Mm-hmm. Jack didn't get out. Jack killed himself. At this point, Nellie is rung up these crazy debts, and apparently it's just one guy. What's his name in the movie?
Manny.
No, it's not Manny.
What are you talking about? Toby's character?
Yeah.
James McKay.
Okay, so oh my god, I burped again. That hurts. So,
by the way, her debt of $85,000. If you translated that to 2022, that would be $1.8 million. Dang, debt. That's a lot of debt.
That's a lot of debt. So she comes storming into Manny's place, and she's like, I messed up. They're gonna come kill me. Blah blah blah. And because he's been in love with her since the day they met, is like, I'm gonna try and fix it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets that prop guy who sells drugs or whatever, also, who's quite funny. He's like, I've got it figured out. I got money for you. So he gives him a bag of money, and they go out to this place, and they see My Name is Earl's brother, the big guy who dies.
That's Earl's brother?
He lost a ton of weight.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's him. He was really huge and stuff. Now he's super jacked.
Really?
That's the guy from My Name Is Earl.
That's
true story.
That's wild.
Anyway, they go see a disgusting-looking Tobey Maguire. And at this point in the film, I know we're way over, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in the film, it almost lost me.
Well, because this doesn't...
I was like, what is happening?
This doesn't line up with like what's going on. It doesn't make sense. So I will say that originally, Tobey Maguire was slated to... Like, there were news articles that came out last year saying Tobey Maguire cast as Charlie Chaplin in Babylon. So originally he was going to play Charlie Chaplin. I guess they couldn't find room for a seventh character to center around.
Yeah.
And so they turned him into this like vampire man.
Yeah, he's awful.
Pasty and he's strange.
Yeah, look, gross teeth. He just looks disgusting.
Yep. And he's weird. They take him to this like underground place with all these.
Well, so that's the thing.
So fucked up.
Him being like this, like gambling guy, whatever. Maybe she gets him in the sharks. She has some debt.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't what like threw me off. It was the crazy dungeon where I was where are we?
Because that's not the level of the party at the beginning.
No.
It was a different thing. There was this floor that was like all like disfigured people.
Yep. It was like
at one point there was like these Siamese twins that were like joined at the hip that were like having sex with these two girls.
You're right.
And it was just so disconcerting.
It was strange. And they're all like kept in cages.
Yep. And there's the alligator.
The alligator, yep. And then there's the big dude, right?
The big dude who eats rats.
That was awful.
What's his name? Fucking Jason. What is it? James. James says should be in a movie. You just doesn't even have a fucking plot for the movie. Just says just put him in a movie and center it around him. Because James has good ideas.
Yep.
No, he doesn't. They find out that the money's fake because prop guy who insisted that they went in for a drink and insisted they go to the tunnel because he's a dumbass, got fake money because he's a dumbass. So they get chased out with the guns and they're shooting and pow, 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 pow. Yep. Earl's brother gets shot in the head. Or no, he gets like hit with the torch, spiky torch. Like the
spiky ball thing, yeah.
It was a torch on the wall.
Oh, okay,
but it had spikes on it because it's a weird fucking dungeon.
So he dies.
He's like shooting blood out his neck. Yeah. He's fucking going everywhere. Like that.
Yeah.
We should do more sound effects on the podcast. We should do more sound. Yeah. So it sounds like that's the spurting. That's a clot getting caught in there.
So he dies.
Yeah, he's dead.
And then they're all like, okay, kill these guys. Mm-hmm. So they somehow escape. And they go get Nellie. She's all like, no, it's fine. I just want to party. I want to go dance. I'm not scared anymore. I'm going to, you know.
I just want to fucking dance.
Yes. So they drop off the prop guy to pack. And Nellie and Manny go off and I don't know, they do something, but they go dance actually. And he's like, I love you.
They're going to get gas.
Yeah, and he's like, I love you and I want to be with you and let's like run away together and let's, you know, we can go start a family and be happy and live. And she's like, yes, okay. And she says yes, which I think is a way to like, I don't think she ever meant it. You know?
No, I think she was just trying to give him like that moment of happiness before she ran away.
Yes, I know. So they go back to the place, and he goes in to get the prop guy, and she dances off into the darkness. Mm-hmm. And that's the last that we see of her. She goes to her darkness willingly.
Yeah.
And so she's found dead. I guess a number of years later.
In her hotel room.
Yeah. And while Manny's in that room, some dude busts in, shoots the prop guy and his friend who's just sitting there having dinner, poor guy, and then tells Manny to get out of Hollywood. And so he escapes.
Yep. Manny pisses himself.
He does. He has to leave. He has to leave Nellie because she's gone. She ran off. Mm-hmm. And then we fast forward to the end, which we'll talk about the end real fast, and then we'll try and wrap up. He comes back a number of years later. He's got himself a nice big beer gut and a daughter. and a wife.
And a wife, yeah.
And they go to the gate of the studio, and he's like, "It's where Daddy used to work."
Polyphony.
Polyphony Films. And she's like, "I don't care. I'm bored. I want to go somewhere else." So the mom and daughter go off to sightsee, and he goes to see a movie. He goes to see
Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain. And we get this crazy montage.
Yeah, it's fucking Avatar in it. Like, how'd they get the rights to all these
crazy
movies?
montage. So it starts off, and it's actually quite beautiful. Where like
starts off with the first film, like the guy on the horse that we see in Nope.
Yes. Well, no, I was saying like, so he starts watching the movie, and there's scenes that were very similar to almost verbatim that played out in Babylon that are in Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
And so he's seeing those things, and he's like getting emotional. He's crying, and he's remembering like the pain and the chaos that they went through, and he's remembering the friends that he loved and left behind. And then we cut to the history of film in a matter of seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you were saying we see the first horse from Nope, right? And we go all the way through these. We see Terminator. We see like Jurassic Park, E.T.,
Avatar.
We see, like Gladiator, like not like Gladiator, Ben-Hur, like the Rebel Without a Cause, like classic films, all the way through till the modern day, and then we see Avatar. I don't know if we see any Marvel stuff or any superhero stuff.
No, I don't think we do. Thank God.
We see Avatar, that kind of stuff, and then we just go to color and sound and
it's just like fucking primary colors,
like lava lamp stuff for a minute, but then it goes to like red and blue and like yellow and like these crazy like. And it's fascinating because I read an article where Damien Chazelle was like, I wanted to break it down to the fundamental building blocks of what film is, and it's just sound and color.
I mean, yeah.
Which also is a great album by Damien Shakes. And so that's where it's like, whoa, what's going on? What'd you think of it?
The montage?
The like crazy montage.
Yeah, it was awesome. It reminded me. Not the same level, but it reminded me of the scene in Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it's just like flashing through all the different realities and you see all the different faces.
Because then we cut back to Manny watching the film. We see this really beautiful shot of everybody. This theater's full, and they're like enamored with this film. And he has this smile, and it's like a moment of realizing, like, oh, well, I accomplished what I wanted. I was a part of this. I helped push this forward. And because of that, I will forever be a part of everything that comes after.
Yeah. Yes. There's a couple things, a couple more trivia things I'd like to talk about.
Let's do it.
So Brad Pitt's character, Jack Conrad, is based on John Gilbert. John Gilbert was one of the leading actors in the 20s during the silent film phase. When they went to talkies, he was one of the ones that didn't make it. Like, he was not successful in talkies.
Gotcha.
Singing in the Rain, the screenplay is based on John Gilbert's career as an actor.
Really?
Yeah, so Manny is sitting in the theater watching Singing in the Rain, which is based on the life of someone who Jack Conrad is based on. And so the fact that he's watching these scenes that play out that seem very similar to things that happen in the film are because those things happened in Jack Conrad or John Gilbert's life.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome. That's the thing, is that, and we can give like our final thoughts on this, is that whether you like this movie or not, he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this movie, like La La Land to me is like the idealistic version of the Hollywood dream, you know?
Can I give you another piece of trivia?
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but what's his name? The director?
Damien Chazelle.
Damien Chazelle pitched this film to a studio executive early on in his career. And the studio executive told him, I love this, but I think it's a little ambitious for where you are in your career. But I love the idea of you bringing together like intertwining movies with like music as its core component. So why don't you focus on a film based on that? And so he wrote La La Land. So if it wasn't for his idea for this film, La La Land wouldn't have been made.
Well, this film was like 10 years in the making or something like that too.
Yeah.
Something crazy. And it just, I love that this film.
I thought I would at least would have gotten a wow, but I didn't.
Wow. This film, I appreciate that it doesn't hold anything back. It's like, this is a big monster, machine of an industry, but it's also can still be beautiful, or maybe it's terrible. Maybe I lost my brain cells from that chip.
No, you got brain cells.
It feels like we did that like a year ago.
I know.
The past hour has been such a strange existence.
I know. I mean, great performances by Brad Pitt and Gene Smart, Spike Jonze. That was a joke.
Spike Jonze.
Spike Jonze. Get it? Because our brains are fried. So I pronounce his name.
I got it.
Spike Jonze.
Yes.
He was the Schneller motherfuckers.
Yes.
Director. I mean, Margot Robbie, Diego Calva.
Should we ask the question?
Tobey Maguire, Eric Roberts, whose sister is Julia Roberts.
And daughter is
Emma Roberts.
He's a grandpa, I think. Didn't she just have a baby, Emma Roberts?
Yeah, she has a child. Fuck.
Wait, what? Isn't she like 30?
She's 31.
Oh, okay. So she's like our age almost.
No, we're her age almost. If you want to be technical.
But is it good?
Yeah, I think so. Let me say I can see why people would be.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, why people wouldn't like it. Both the critics and
I think it's rotten right now.
Yes, it's at like 52%. The audience scores at like 50%. I enjoyed it. I think everyone that was in the theater with me enjoyed it.
Yeah. I really loved this movie. I think that I can say that I loved this movie.
You loved it.
I loved it. It has some glaring flaws in the third act that are almost unforgivable.
That we didn't really talk about in depth, but that's okay.
Well, just the crazy, like it becomes a different movie.
Yeah, it does. It has a different feel.
Out of nowhere, and unnecessarily too. It is a little long. It's too long. But I also think that I really loved what this movie was trying to be, so I'm a little partial to say. I'd give it like a 75 or 80.
Sometimes when a movie is long-winded like this, but it seems like it. One was too long, but two had more to say because, like we said, there were backstories that weren't fleshed out.
Yeah.
It makes me think. I know it's harder to get these big name actors on for like a show, but it makes me think like this would have been a like. Can you imagine?
Yeah, like,
everyone would be watching if there were fucking orgies every week.
Should this have been a show? Okay, well there you go. It's good.
It's good. Is it Golden Good worthy?
I don't think so.
Okay,
maybe.
Neither. You said you loved it.
I did love it.
I don't think you said you loved the movie last week, but we nominated that one.
That was more sound filmmaking. This is more ambitious filmmaking.
This was all about film is nothing but sound and picture.
I hate you.
This was sound filming. They go to talkies, Hunter. They introduce the sound.
I don't have the energy.
Okay.
All right, cool.
That's what my last 3 girlfriends have told me.
Movie in a minute.
Yeah.
No, wait. Shit. Every movie sucks. Every movie sucks. Here we go.
Oh, my God. My stomach. Whose idea was it?
Yours.
Like, no, I mean, like, in heaven, who, to make it, why does milk break down spice? Because that's just going to make it, like, it's going to get rid of the spice, but, like, it does not sit well.
You're going to feel gross. I don't know.
I feel like I've aged 20 years today.
Here we go. This is Half Star, Chili Blue. Less than 5 minutes into this 3-hour behemoth, an elephant anus opens up and pours shit onto the camera. This is clearly to signal what Damien Chazelle is going to do to the audience over the next 3 hours and 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It was not just less than 5 minutes. It was like less than a minute into the movie.
Your turn. Oh, God.
I am... Oh, my God. Okay, give me a second. I'm not doing well, y'all.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, go.
Anna says, nada bueno que decir de esta película.
I don't know what that means. This is from Mark8650. This is long, so bear with me. Half star. From the masterpiece of La La Land to this abomination, I really don't know what Damien was thinking with this piece of nausea-inducing piece of shit. The first hour and 30 minutes of the movie gave me a headache and was so over the top. It was being shocking to say, oh, look at how shocking this is. A woman pissing on someone, a woman getting a champagne bottle shoved up her ass. What?
You didn't catch that?
I think I missed that.
Yo, they were at the party, and they were like showing like orgy, or like people having sex. Then they showed this champagne bottle just being shoved up someone's asshole, and you like hear like a thump. That's what he's talking about when he's talking about sound. Also, did you notice?
I missed that.
Did you remember when they were talking about talkies and they were in the bathroom and he was like, why would you want sound in a movie? It's just like a dude taking a dump.
And a beautiful POV shot of an elephant's asshole and then proceeding to take a huge shit over someone. Mm-hmm. And then he has the emoji with the middle finger. This is the longest movie I've ever seen in my life. And the ending of this movie, the last 5 minutes felt like the entire movie just loud noise flashes on the screen. Then to reference other huge movies and then go back to your film set in the 1920s is so fucking bizarre and confusing. And Tobey Maguire, why? Why was you in this movie in the most out of place scene in the movie 2.5 hours in? This movie really pissed me off. Sorry, I rant over. F this movie.
Mm.
You know you're in for a disaster when there's a fart joke in the first 20 minutes. My God's sake. Oh gosh.
This movie made me feel physically ill. I could rant about exploitation and body horror, dehumanization, and disgust as a plot tool, but I won't because it will only nauseate me again. A cast that felt like Leo DiCaprio was supposed to be in it but wasn't. Indulgent in every regard, piss and shit and cum everywhere, annoying, overlong, self-filleting. Some bright spots, Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt's character, the soundstage scene. I love how Margot Robbie and then Brad Pitt's character. Like, not Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt's character.
Brad Pitt's character.
Alrighty.
Here's a review that says,
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to try one more. Let's see here.
Anastasia says, fuck you all.
Wow. This is a very long... I'm not going to read that. That's like a paper.
Pro Smiling says, my first walkout. I'm just going to keep going until you find one.
Connor Johnston says, what an embarrassing piece of shit. This is like if a 13-year-old was in their first year of film school and you gave him $200 million.
I know a Connor Johnston. I wonder if it's him.
I don't know. His favorite movie is School of Rock.
Sounds like Connor.
His third favorite one is West Side Story.
It's not Connor.
That's funny. All right,
it's a love letter to cinema, says director immediately before making the worst movie of all time. It's from Jeremy, not me.
That's funny. All right, I'm good. Are you good?
No, but yes.
Let's do news.
In the news, we're talking about
news.
Much like this film, it starts off at its peak in terms of like adrenaline, and then tapers off.
My stomach's starting to hurt.
My stomach has been hurting, man. Like, good Lord.
All right, let's get through this and we'll be done.
I want to throw up, take a shit, and go to sleep.
We have to do whiskey shots.
Yeah. Oh no!
We can do water shots.
I'm doing a water shot. Yeah.
Or we'll just do
Pepto-Bismol shot.
Yeah, there we go. We'll do a shot of Tums. Okay, news. Here we go. We got a trailer for Gotham Knights, the TV show on CW, and my God, it looks terrible.
Okay. Okay.
Batman gets killed, and so Robin and Batgirl or somebody have to fight the Joker's daughter. Mm-hmm. And guess how they showed Batman in this movie? They showed a guy in a tuxedo with a bat cowl on, and he was dead in the street.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a new look at Adam Warlock, his full suit in Guardians 3. Apparently, Marvel sucks because apparently they pay their VFX artists 20% less than other studios while asking 10 times more of them. So, hey, Marvel, don't do that. That's kind of shitty. We're getting a Zoe 101 sequel movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hype.
Good.
Hype. Spider-Man 4 is apparently set to start filming at the end of this year with a budget of $200 million. We get our first brief look at Zack Snyder's epic sci-fi film, Netflix film,
Rebel Moon,
mm-hmm. which he has called his Star Wars. So we'll see. Snyder fans should be happy.
Let me tell you, it looks like a Star Wars knockoff. Like
really?
It just in every way, it looks.
Well, I saw some still like of a set, and I was like, bro, that's the Emperor's throne room.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it has the window. I was like, that's the Emperor's throne room. I mean, do what you want to do. Like, I think I'm sure he's a cool guy. He makes visually interesting films. They're not always great, but like, do your thing, man. Whatever, Netflix.
You trying to measure your words, thinking about Sucker Punch, visually interesting.
I've never seen Sucker Punch.
It's just like
it looks like.
Say what you're thinking, because you're smirking at me.
It just looks like a teen guy's like.
Yes.
Weird fantasy film.
Right. That was part of the joke. Was that you're like, he makes visually interesting films. Yeah. You're thinking about that.
No.
Right. I know you're not. Let's move on. The joke didn't hit.
It's fine. We get a first look at Michael Fassbender in David Fincher's The Killer.
I feel like Michael Fassbender has disappeared for like 7 years.
Well, one, he had a baby, and two, apparently he races cars. Didn't know that. Apparently he's like an actual race car driver.
Really?
Yeah. We get a new poster and trailer for Scream 6 because they just keep making them. But it's interesting.
I saw a trailer for Scream 6 in the theater.
Really? Did it look good?
I mean,
I haven't seen her.
Yeah, I'll tell you that I haven't seen any of them, and for the longest time, and when I mean for the longest time, I mean like until like 3 weeks ago, I thought that the Scream movies were the scary movie movies.
Like the jokes.
Yeah, like I didn't realize that there was a serious Scream.
That's funny. I don't really care about those. Megan 2.0 gets a release date of January 17th of 2025.
All right.
John Wick director Chad Stahelski
okay.
Is going to direct Michael B. Jordan's Rainbow Six movie. I think that's like the Tom Clancy Rainbow Six, whatever. That's happening. Jason Momoa has spoken out on the recent DC stuff. He said that he got some really good news from Warner Brothers while sharing his love for DC and saying to the future, and saying that no matter who is playing Aquaman, he will always be Aquaman because, he's done the films. And he also dropped a hint that maybe there are some other characters that he could be playing in the future. So it does seem like he's going to be Lobo, which I think is a good casting, actually, frankly. I think it's going to be weird because I liked him as Aquaman,
mm-hmm.
but I think he'd make a good Lobo. We're supposed to get that slate, or part of the slate, but before the end of the month, and it's the 22nd at the time of this recording, so probably in the next week we're going to get it. Anyway, we got a lot more news. We got a trailer for Damsel starring Millie Bobby Brown, Angela Bassett, Robert Wright, and Nick Robinson. Mark Hamill said he is unlikely to ever return as the Joker in any capacity after the death of Kevin Conroy, saying that he was his Batman, so he does not see himself being Joker anymore. Just sad, but I also think it's very respectful. Got a new look at Chris Hemsworth Extraction 2 on Netflix. I first looked at Willem Dafoe in the new thriller Inside, which the picture is very interesting. We get a first look at Leave the World Behind, starring Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, Mahala, and Kevin Bacon. Here's one that's interesting. Jared Leto's Tron 3 is finally moving forward, which is fascinating.
People are
after like 12 years.
Not too enthused.
The Flash's villain has been revealed as Dark Flash, which seems interesting.
That's so interesting.
Are you okay?
Maybe. Yeah, I'm okay.
Hugh Jackman has teased the classic Wolverine suit in a photo that is the mask and Deadpool, so teasing Deadpool 3. James Gunn is apparently rumored to be bringing some Guardians of the Galaxy actors over to the DC universe. So we'll see. And then lastly, this is a bit more solemn news. Alec Baldwin is going to be charged with involuntary manslaughter as a result of the death that happened on this set of, what was it called? Dust or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
No, Rust. And that's all I've got. That's the news of the week. There's news.
Did you see the picture? Oh, God. Sorry. Oh, man, my stomach. Did you see the picture of J.K. Simmons in a Santa suit alongside
The Rock?
The Rock?
No. Let me see it.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay. He's a buff Santa. Well, Hannah's not asleep. I'm going to pause this. Oh, no. There you go. All right, that's all we got. That's news. So, Zach, tell us about your minute. Hawks are over 500 again, aren't they?
Hawks are over 500. They won 5 games and they lost.
Oh,
and they were up by like 19 in the game last night, and then they lost. Last night being Saturday night against the
Hornets.
Hornets, yes. Ugh.
Is that all you got?
That was a milky capsaicin burp. That was the worst thing that could have ever come out of my mouth. Was a milky capsaicin. The only thing that could have been worse is if I ate like an entire tin of sardines. So it was like a fishy milk capsaicin burp.
That's disgusting.
Oh, goodness. That's my Hawks minute, y'all.
All right, we're not taking a shot of whiskey this time.
What a fucking shit show.
I'm not. I will puke instantly if I drink whiskey right now.
Mm-hmm.
So cheers.
Think.
To my sweet girl. I miss her.
Miss you, whiskey.
To whiskey.
You wouldn't have let us do this.
No, she would have fired us at the spot. She would have never let. See what's happened? The quality of this podcast has tanked so much since. All right, I'm gonna wrap up. Okay, I'm gonna give the outro. Is that cool? Yes. All right. Okay, so while Zach's going upstairs, please like and subscribe and follow us. Okay, I'll let her know. Yes, like and subscribe. We're on TikTok now. We're on YouTube now. Please follow us and say hello and email us at biigpodcast@gmail.com if you want to say hello. If you got any films that you want us to do, or you can find us on Twitter at biigpodcast. Find us on Instagram at butisitgoodpodcast and TikTok and YouTube at butisitgoodpodcast. You can follow me at Hunter Callahan Music on Instagram and everything else. You can follow Zach on Instagram at Zach2THA future.31. And yes, thank you if you listened through an hour and 40 minutes of this fiasco. I hope it was funny and it was fun for you because it was absolutely excruciating for us. And next week, we're not going to do this again. We're going to get back to normal. All right, Zach's not here right now. He went upstairs to take care of some business. So we'll be back next week. Bye.
But is it good podcast? Yeah.